Hello and welcome to part 3 of our base, and part 2 of the actual base construction. Here we have the next two modules and final two modules of the base ready to go down. I skipped the launch phase because it's the exact same as last time, so why see that twice? And we're just coasting in and ready for our Duna insertion burn with the habitation module and what's the other one? The science module. Yeah. All right. That's right. So obviously the habitation module is where they live most of the time. Science module is where like the lab and all that cool stuff. The science module, like you saw in the previous episode with the testing, looks really cool when it's deployed. It has a little telescope and everything. So yeah, here on that burn, you can see how it's bending a little bit. I got a little worried about that, but so I did actually have to throttle down to avoid the entire thing snapping off. And see, when I throttled off there, it just kind of popped. And yeah. Anyway, we gotta finish up making this burn nice and circular, so we coast along. Or oh, that's right. That the fuel on that stage there actually completely runs out. Yeah, this does not go well as well as it did last time. Anyway, so we have our two modules already fully deployed. I don't get any help from an upper stage this time, which is very unfortunate, but I can manage it. These both have parachutes on them, so they should, well, that kind of buys them more Delta V, except for here, I do not switch over to the landing computer, and so I'm burning the complete wrong way, and I keep doing it, and I don't know why, because I can see that I'm facing prograde, but I don't even register that. So I'm like, oh yeah, that. So, click that, then it flips around to where it actually should be, and so it has even less fuel, and I burned an unfortunately high amount of fuel with that. Luckily, the inclination isn't that bad, so that isn't a huge issue, but yeah. So, get that lined up. This one's the science module, I believe. It's slightly shorter than the other one. But yeah, this descent's pretty standard, as it was before. It's kind of becoming a standard thing. The thrust to weight ratio is really high on these, which makes controlling them a lot easier, a lot higher than the descent vehicle or the ascent vehicles. Was kind of an overcorrection there. I actually burned a little too much retrograde. I'm now going to fall short because the atmosphere is going to slow me down enough, probably to the point where I'll fall short. But do a couple more adjustment burns to get it right where I want it. Yeah, controlling this thing was a little awkward. So we're just coasting in over on a pretty steep trajectory that is not ideal, but the speed is low enough that I can arrest it in a fairly short amount of time. And really all I have to do is slow myself down enough for the chutes. I can kind of use as a backup. I like to use the engines as long as I can because that can get me really nice and close to the target. But if I'm really in trouble, I can just pop the chutes. So I just try and get as close as I can. The chutes are actually safe to deploy at this point, so now it's all just getting myself nice and close. I do have wheels to drive, or so I think. Well, they are there, but yeah, you'll see what I mean. Just some last second kind of pushes towards the base. Oh, I haven't named Vesta here because that's sort of like the god of home and hearth and whatnot, but it doesn't stay that way because all of the with all the docking and undocking from it just changes the name, so it ends up becoming like hub base module, whatever I named it in the VAB. Just so the name of it isn't, that's sort of its official name, but it's not gonna be called that really on screen on the little name indicator, just because of the whole undocking and docking thing. Anyway, we're coasting down on the parachutes now. I did one last little burn at the end as I popped the chutes. I probably shouldn't have, because then I would have landed closer, but that's alright. We're still close enough. And so, nice touchdown. And deploy the wheels. There we go. And just turn on the brakes because we're on the hill, and then get ready to go. And nothing. I just start spinning. Why am I spinning? I'm spinning because at least 2 of the wheels on there are broken, and not because I landed, because they're broken in space. As you can see here, well, you may have not been able to see it actually, that was pretty quick, but the wheels are broken in space, and I felt that was kind of cheap. Because I didn't break them. I think it was just the fact that they were clipped into those fuel tanks a little bit. Not cheatingly clipped, just because, you can't actually change the shape of parts, so you have to kind of clips things a little bit to make stuff useful. Anyway, to try and save fuel, because this thing does not have a lot of delta V, as you can see. A good landing on Duna is about, well, maybe 1.3 kilometers per second, and well, that's really taking off and getting into orbit. So landing, you're going to want more, especially landing in a specific area. You're going to want even more because you're going to have to do more adjustments. And so 1.4 kilometers a second is far from ideal. Anyway, I try to do some aero braking, and it does help a bit, but eventually I just kind of say screw it and let's just go. So it's a really steep trajectory downward. I should be able to control it, but yeah. So trying my best, and this thing is not nice to fly, as you can see, because I'm going so fast. The atmosphere is really... Actually, I'm not even in the atmosphere, never mind. That might just be the offset thrust. That's probably what it is, because these things can be difficult to balance. So you pretty much have to build them symmetrically, and I was trying to put more than one module in one sort of lander section like this, but it just wouldn't let me in terms of balance. Like, it was way too hard to balance. The fuel would shift it around as I burned the fuel off. It just wasn't going to happen. But I get a surprisingly lower descent speed, pretty good descent speed. And the atmosphere was actually slowing me down there. See, I'm not even thrusting here, and I'm getting a nice low speed. The chutes are almost safe. I'm going under Mach 1 now. See what the Mach indicators there, and there are the chutes. I land quite far away, pretty much as far away as the ascent vehicle, but I don't mind because, well, they're designed to be driven, and if it weren't for the broken wheels, they would be driven just fine. So I have to kind of account for these broken wheels, right? It's gonna be a pain. I try my best until I get bored and impatient. I do it legit. I prove that I can do it legit, don't worry. I don't completely cheat. It's fine. Still making a nice slow descent, going back up a tiny bit for some reason. And yeah, as you can see when I deploy the wheels, that one on the left there is broken, and it just, because I'm on the hill, it's not letting me drive. Or actually no, the back 2 are broken, never mind. The thing could drive with one broken wheel on the ground in testing, because for whatever reason it was broken, but yeah. Anyway, to try and salvage this, I come up with a plan to detach the still fully functional greenhouse module, even after that little flip right there, just because of whatever, and the other one, to kind of use it as a space tow truck, and come over here and tug the other modules up, and then dock them by using the greenhouse module as its wheels. And that proves to be quite the task for sure. It's for some reason docking here was a lot harder than it has been in the past. Well, because they were both on their wheels, actually. That caused problems before. Anyway, really trying to jiggle it. This thing's down on the hill, so I can't even kind of tilt it up. It'll just fall down the hill more, so I try and get this as close as I can. But it's not biting. Trying to nudge it over by pushing on it. It's really close. You can see the magnets trying to pull it. It wants to. There we go. Okay, we got it. So now we're driving up. And it actually works surprisingly well, believe it or not. And so yeah, while I'm trying to scoot this thing into place, I'm just gonna... Yeah, so for the other module, I proved that I can do it with this one legit. And the other one, I'll be honest, I just went in and fixed the wheels by other, more non-in-game means and drove it over. I'm sorry, it it would have taken way too long. It just wasn't worth it. I did prove here, however, this was totally legit. I could prove that I did it legit, and I think that's just fine. I don't see a problem with that. Anyway, now that we have our base totally complete, a nice little zoom out shot there. That's all for this part here. I'll try to get the next one out pretty soon. Anyway, new thing at the end, rather than boring stills, here's a nice little time lapse of a sunset on Duna with the clouds passing over. It's really nice. I like the time lapses. I'm going to do a lot more of these. Have a fantastic day.